The 2026 offseason has officially begun. It is Black Monday in the NFL, and we heard from Washington's general manager and head coach during their routine exit presser today. I know some people are new here, but at the end of an NFL season, either the coach and or front office leader, and in some organizations, the owner, like the Jerry Joneses of the world, they address the media. Do they give you an answer to everything that took place during the season? Absolutely not. Do they give you the blueprint of what's to come in the offseason? Absolutely not. But we did hear from the guys, so we have that to talk about. Washington's opponents are officially confirmed for next year, and coaches have already begun being fired and relieved of their duties. It is Black Monday in the NFL. Let's go. What's going on, per usual, Washington Commanders Nation? It's your boy Rio Robinson, back with the latest and greatest on the Rambling with Rio YouTube channel, where we ramble about our Washington Commanders. It is Monday, the day after the season just ended. It's Monday, January 5th. Our 5-12 Washington Commanders will be picking 7th in the NFL draft. Guys cleaned out their lockers today. Coaches are being fired league-wide. Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot, the GM and head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, were fired yesterday. Kevin Stefanski was fired today. Pete Carroll was fired today. And Washington is soon going to be on the hunt for a defensive coordinator. But before we do so, Dan Quinn's going to have to bite the bullet and officially fire Joe Witt Jr. from the defensive coordinator position, because while he took away play calling duties from him this season, he was not actually let go. What's up, y'all? How are y'all feeling right now? I was in the chat listening to the entire press conference, and I was just listening. I just wanted to know what they had to say. I didn't go in with any expectation. Some of y'all whole football team coaches and front office members, y'all hold them in a higher pressure. Like, y'all expect more results from them than y'all do the leader of the free world. But that's a conversation we don't even have to have. But y'all was in there crashing out. And after a 5-12 season following an NFC championship berth just a year ago, I get it. But y'all was in that joint crashing out in the chat. Our fans, they are sick of it. You would think that this is the lowest of lows this franchise has ever seen, and it's not even close to it. But here's the thing. It hurts more. It hurts more than the shit that was taking place during the Snyder era, because expectations were attached. We actually succeeded in 2024. We actually went to places fans in my demographic have never seen this team go. So to see them immediately regress in such nature, and then the entire team get hurt, and we go from a 12-win season, well, our season ends on the final day of January, to the first week of January this year. We're talking about coordinator hirings. We're talking about 30 impending free agents and uprooting a porous roster, a roster with holes everywhere. My main reaction of this press conference is Adam Peters knows. He gets it. He knows too. He knows that this roster ain't shit. He knows that things that he did have included, like things that he did have also played a part as to why this roster ain't shit. Now he has to deliver, but Adam Peters knows, bro. What is our main gripes as fans? Team needs to get younger. Team needs to get faster. We have holes everywhere. I heard Adam Peters say the company line a bunch of times today. Team needs to get younger. Team needs to get faster. There are a lot of holes. He's Adam Peters. How can you fix this defense? You see, we have a lot of things that need to get fixed. They asked Dan Quinn, what is one thing you would like to change? I think Nikki Dubois of the Washington Post asked him, what is one thing you wish you could do over? He was like, it's like death by a million paper cuts. There are a multitude of things that we could have did differently. They get it. Now it's up to AP to deliver. I think we may possibly see a different approach. I'm not saying they're going to do everything fans want them to do, but I think the approach is going to be a little bit different, man. Rio, look into your crystal ball. Do you think Adam and Dan Quinn will be here? When does that say? Let me see. I was reading that question. Where'd that go? When the stadium reopens in 2030. Hey, man, I don't know if I'm going to be here in 2030. So I can't promise anybody anything, especially in a league known for being not for long as the acronym of the NFL. I can't tell you I'm gonna be here when the new stadiums opens up. So I can't guarantee that. I know that's a safe ass answer, but we all should be critical and go into this offseason with a level of concern heading into this thing. However, I still think the general manager we hired can right the ship here. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that's the delusion in me. I think Adam Peters gets it. I think he gets it. I haven't loved his approach building this thing, but I think he gets it. And you have to step back and realize that as a young general manager, you don't just come in like what we did in 2024 is not normal. It was some real outlier shit. You don't just come in and turn a 4-win team into a title contender in one season. And he went for it. He went for it. The superior play of Jaden Daniels made him say, fuck it. Fuck these picks. I'm going to do everything we can. Let me go get this corner because that's all we need on the defense. We need a lot more than just a corner on the defense. Shit, we need a room full of corners on the defense. Let me go get this left tackle. Let me go get this gadget wide receiver 2 weapon-like guy. Let me wheel and deal, and let's bust open this title window right now. I get it. He went for it. He went for it, and it didn't work. And a lot of the reason this year that it didn't work because of injury, but let's not lie to ourselves. I want us to look in the mirror as Washington fans. If these niggas was healthy this year, we still wouldn't have been good. I don't think we were a good football team this year. I think our peak this year was probably going to be a 7 or 8 win football team with what I saw. Not going into the season. Going into the season, y'all saw what we was on in August. We was talking crazy. But I don't think this was going to be much of a good football team this year. Yep. We only have 6 draft picks. I'm not concerned with the number of draft picks. You just have to make them count. Howie Roseman was wilding in his early years as Philadelphia's general manager. That fan base was on his ass for years. They were crying to fire him. It was hashtag fire Howie Roseman like it was hashtag fire Jack Del Rio or hashtag fire Joe Witt Jr. here in D.C. It took him a little bit, but once he finally understood, it's been all wheels up in Philadelphia, and we should be upset, but we don't have to scapegoat the GM right now, man. He's still young on the job. This is his second year as a general manager. I think we should be a little bit more critical of Dan Quinn. He's been here before. He's been here and he's failed before. He's seen the entire movie play out, Act 1, 2, and 3. So he's been here before. This is Adam Peters still learning on the job. Like it's the quarterback's second year in the league. It's the general manager's second year of general managering. So I think we do need to give him some grace, but we do need to be on his ass at the same time. No pause. We need to be on his ass this year. We need AP to lock in because this is a critical year in Washington's foreseeable future. It is year 3 of Jaden Daniels' rookie contract. It's a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option on it. Those special quarterbacks, they get paid after year 3, somewhere into year 4. So this could be the last true offseason of having robust salary cap. If we cut Marshawn Lattimore like I anticipate, there are moves to be made where we could go into this offseason with north of $110 million of salary cap. You don't just throw money at everybody that money is required to sign, and it's not the sexiest of free agent class, but you got to at least go for it. You got to find some guys that fit. But before we even go there, we need to know who, like, is there going to be any staff shakeups? Cliff is a wanted commodity out here. Cliff is about to interview for a few head coaching jobs. While I'm bracing myself for us losing Cliff to a head coaching job, I don't think Cliff should be fired for this season. I don't think they should fire him. If he's leaving, it should be because Cliff chose to take the Titans job, which, hey, God bless him if he does that. Or if he takes the Raiders job, or if he takes the New York Giants job, or whatever, that should be the reason. I don't know if firing, or maybe it's just a parting of ways because he was here on a 2-year deal in the first place. Joe Witt Jr., however, John Kahn mentioned the team wants a more experienced defensive coordinator. I don't know if I would take that as gospel, but that would rule out a guy like Al Harris because he has never coordinated a defense before. It looks like it's pretty easy from where I stand. Dan Quinn, we all know the type. And you know these dudes love to coach with dudes that they've coached with before. This feels easy. It feels like it's going to be Jeff Ulbrich or Raheem Morris. But show me that you care enough to cast a far net of interviews other than people that you know. I want them to interview 5 or 6 guys, and not just interview a couple guys that they know and love. Dan Quinn's linebacker coach, Jeff Ulbrich, when he was in Atlanta. We already know Dan Quinn's relationship and his overlap with Raheem Morris over the years. They swear by each other. We know how that goes. And Raheem Morris can call a defense, but let's just make sure. We're hiring the best guy for the job and not the most comfortable guy for the job. That's very important for me. But Raheem Morris can call defense. He's a shit head coach. He should never be another head coach in this league. And I hate that. I don't want to just knock the black coaches of the world because I know how that goes. But he's just not a good decision maker. He should only be scheming up defense. I just want to make sure that's the Gannon's out there. Jim Schwartz is out there because the coach just got canned. There's a lot of people out there. Just make sure. Someone's been throwing out on Twitter. I think it's Steve, Air Raid Concepts on Twitter, saying Chris Richards, the passing game coordinator for the Seahawks. They have a bunch of impending free agents. He's like, oh, the inside track to their defensive free agents, sign their passing game coordinator. Make sure we're getting the right guy. Carl Scott is who I'm talking about, not Chris Richards. Different people. Carl Scott. He worked with Saban. He worked with Alabama, and now he's their passing game coordinator for the Seahawks. That's interesting to me. I would like to see that Dan Quinn is capable of thinking outside the box. Dan Quinn, I'm not calling him Ron Rivera, but those kind of coaches, they think very similarly. And there aren't many think outside the box things that they have to do until you've reached a desperation point. I just want to know they're hiring the best guy for the job. Point blank, period. If we have to hire an offensive coordinator, honestly, I think that's the more interesting conversation, because for continuity purposes, I wouldn't hate bringing Cliff back with Jaden for a 3rd season, because we're going to have our quarterback speak a new language in year 3, a critical year where we just want him healthy and out there looking like himself again. He's got to learn a new system. But if we have to bring in a new offensive coordinator, that's a more interesting conversation than the defense to me, because even though it's not sexy, we know Jeff Ulbrich and Raheem Morris can scheme up a defense. And I'm not really concerned with, but what if the defensive coordinator's plan doesn't fit with the people we have? Listen, the people we have, we shouldn't be trying to build defenses around what we have here because we need better. We need better players. We need to upgrade at a lot of these positions, and there are not many building blocks at all on that defense, man. There are options at offensive coordinator, though. I know people see Dayball and Stefanski, they look at those names and immediately associate them with what they were as head coaches. The boys can call some offense, man. But I don't know, man. It's going to get very interesting, and it's going to get very interesting very soon. I don't think the defensive coordinator search is going to take very long because I think they're going to hire one of the people that I just mentioned. But it would be crazy if they went a different route with it. It would be – it can't be worse than what we already have in the building. John Gruden would be perfect. Yeah, John Gruden, that's not, I don't think that's a realistic option. John Gruden killing it right now. John Gruden was like Barstool or Underdog Sports or one of these things. I enjoy watching John Gruden's content all the time. But did y'all watch the coach and the GM's presser today? What were y'all thoughts on it? And did y'all see our opponents list for the year of 2026? This is what the schedule, this is what the schedule's looking like. We don't know when we play these guys. We don't know how many times we'll be seeing ourselves on prime time, but this is what the schedule looks like in the year of 2026 for our Washington Commanders. And we better be playing some defense because I see a whole lot of offense over there, man. I see a whole lot of offense on this schedule right here. Boy, that defense better bring their track shoes, man. You already know what we got in the division every year. That never changes. Dallas, Philly, New York. But the number one seed, Seattle Seahawks, probably the title favorite in the NFC, and possibly the NFL MVP, Matt Stafford and the LA Rams. A team that could very well go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. The Houston Texans, a team that we would like to model the developmental track of in the Houston Texans. The hottest team in the league for the first half of the season, who ended up not making the playoffs, in the Indianapolis Colts. Joe Burrow and company, all offense, all fireworks, and a very movable force on the defensive side of the ball. And whatever the next build of the young, talented, but underachieving Atlanta Falcons. Hey, dare I say, Raheem Morris revenge game when the Falcons show up on the schedule next year? Because I'm predicting that's going to be our defensive coordinator. I imagine we're playing Dallas on Thanksgiving next year also. And Minnesota, we don't know who their quarterback's going to be next year. They have to have a conversation. Y'all want to talk about injury prone? J.J. McCarthy can't stay on the field for 4 quarters. J.J. McCarthy missed his entire rookie season and left like 5 games with injury in his second year. And on top of that, he's not very good, and the development doesn't look too fire. Very young quarterback, but for a roster and a coaching staff that is built and ready-made to win right now, they need a veteran quarterback. They can't play the young quarterback game. I imagine they're going to upgrade. They could be in the conversation for one of these veterans. You know, Kyler Murray, anybody? Kyler's going somewhere. I don't wish this on him. I hope it's not the New York Jets, but that feels like a New York Jets football thing to do. Minnesota got to get one of these dudes. Minnesota finna get Tua or Kyler Murray in the offseason. Charles said he's calling. What's up, Charles, by the way? He said the Rams, the LA game is going to be the international game. Mark my words. Nah, you know what the international game going to be, Charles? It's going to be Jacksonville. It's going to be, nobody gets sent to London more than the Jacksonville Jaguar, and they're actually a pretty good football team right now. It's going to be us in Jacksonville from London. But I'm just trying to talk about the schedule next year. Is nothing to scoff at. It's very real. So the Vikings, you know what they do. We lost to them and we got shut out by them with J.J. McCarthy. So you already know what they're capable of. The 49ers are going to be healthier than they were this year. Another team that could very well win the NFC. They could go home in the first round, or they could win it all. In the NFC. The Jacksonville Jaguars, much improved team. The Cardinals, bad team. They just fired Gannon, but they got some talent on that roster. And potentially Cliff Kingsbury's next team in the Tennessee Titans. I want better for my boy Cliffy than the Tennessee Titans. But if he takes the job, there are only 32 of these jobs in the world. And while as fans, we can sit here and sift through the good, the bad, the ugly of taking one of these jobs, there are 32 of them. And when someone offers you that shit, you're taking it. I know we sit here and say, oh, like, and even me, I've echoed these same sentiments before. He's not going unless it's a perfect opportunity. Listen, a NFL head coaching job is always a perfect opportunity, because even if you one and done in that place, while that does not offer you stability, your bank account is straight. That check is still going to the bank. You sign a 4-year, 5-year contract. They fire you after 1 year. Cha-ching. Money's still in your pocket. But this is what our opponents look like in 2026. Washington cannot go into 2026 moving like we moved this season. We need to stay on the field, and the players that we put on the field need to be vastly upgraded. So plan number one, we need to find out who is coordinating these guys in 2026. Plan number two, we need to play the who stays and who goes game. We did that activity on Commanders Kings last week. Shout out to my guys, Louis T, Rico, and Ed. I think it's time to start playing that game again. And y'all know how I feel about a lot of these guys. Let me pull up the list. Commanders, impending free agents. We got 30. We got like 30 of them. We got 30 of them boys coming up. I know you can't just move on from everybody. You can't just move on from everybody. Oh, also, they signed a bunch of guys to futures contracts today. They announced that. That did not move me at all. But the guys they brought back to 11 futures contracts, Carlin Vigors, the human sacrifice of the preseason, Darius Rush from South Carolina, who did not really touch the field, Tim McKay, the offensive lineman, priority free agent, undrafted offensive lineman that we didn't see much from, Rob McDaniel, TJ Magaranya, Jacoby Jones, DJ Johnson, Trey Hawkins, Ja'Cory Brooks, Ricky Barber, and Salah Amea Laulu. That guy. SAL, him. Those were the guys signed to future contract. I'm going to move on from this topic because I don't really think there's much more to talk about there. But what guys are you dead set on have to be brought back in 2026? Who are the guys that you look at and say the team has to bring them back in 2026? Who are you need them back, point blank period. You can't let them walk out the door. Who are those guys going to be for y'all in 2026? Because I don't think that list is very long. Tress Way is on my short list of people Washington got to bring back. Could they go younger at punt or short? Tress Way is a Washington lifer. All he does is punt the football, and he's damn good at it. That is our only real Pro Bowler this season. Should have been Laramie Tunzel. But Tress Way is somebody that we have to bring back. Who are your guys that I'm trying to pull up the list, that we have to bring back in 2026? One of two of the running backs, Jeremy McNichols or Chris Rodriguez, need to be brought back too. Not both of them. We do not need to dual wield those. No, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. All right, here's the list right here. I'm about to pull this shit up. We about to go through this shit one by one, and we about to who needs to be back in the 2026 season. Come on. Had Lou asking me about people named Shy Tuttle the other day. Shy Tuttle, anybody? I mean, I know this crazy ass fan base. There's somebody who will ride for anybody on this team. So I know we got some Shy Tuttle truthers out here in the fan base. Let me pull up this. We got 34 impending free agents going into this offseason. Who y'all banging the table for? How long you think Harris is willing to give these guys? I hope more. Oh, he's going to give them time. He's going to give them time, but he's also going to trust their judgment. So if it's time for them to move around the staff, he's going to allow them the autonomy to do so. Also, before we go into this roster thing, Rachaad White. I see Rachaad White. He out here twerking on social media trying to get to the Commanders. That boy is trying to let any and everybody know he wants to play with Jaden Daniels again. While I think Rachaad White would be a very low-cost Adam Peters type of signing to split the backfield up with Bill Krosky Merritt, I would like us to shoot higher than that before making that signing. Rachaad White is fine. He's solid, you know. I'd rather have Tyler Algier. Let's not go into the offseason saying, bring in all of Jaden Daniels' friends and bring in all of Dan Quinn's friends to coach the football team. Let's see as good as we could do before we play the whole friendship game. This is not anime or the Disney Channel or Stranger Things for that matter. The power of friendship ain't winning a goddamn thing in the NFL. Let's actually go get some talent. Rachaad White is okay. We can do better than Rachaad White. Before we shop at the Gap, can we at least see what's out there and see if we got any interest from anything better than that first? But, oh, yeah. Caveat. Unless that friend is Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr. That is different. That is a guy on a rookie contract that is capable of being one of the top at their position in the league that have actually put together crazy seasons before. That is different. Brandon Ayuk needs to be in therapy with me. Like, he needs to be sitting in a room getting his head right before he needs to worry about being on a football field. Rachaad White is fine, but before we shop at the Gap, we must go to Tyson's too first and at least see what's out there. But let me not get carried away with that. A running back that could catch would be perfect. I'm telling you, I don't think we're getting Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall. I would love us to try, because in a running back league, this league does not give a shit about running back. They will both end up taking deals under $10 million a year, because even the great running backs in this league, they have to scratch and claw to actually be paid. It's going to be a Jaylen Warren type. So before we just run the Rachaad White because he knows Jaden Daniel, let's cast a farther net than that first, because I don't think Rachaad White is what our fans think he is, bro. I love the excitement, though. That boy throwing ass to get over here and play with this boy, man. Chris Paul, easy yes for me to get brought back on this team. Does anybody have any reservations in bringing Paul back? That's your starting left guard. He stole Brandon Coleman's chain, took Thumb Thumb's job, never looked back. He's been picking up ball carriers in the end zone after touchdowns ever since. Chris Paul is your starting left guard. That's an easy bring back for me. And he's young. You know, he's not going to cost a lot. We don't have to go too crazy. Bring Chris Paul back. That's easy for me, man. What do y'all think? That's an easy comeback for me. And shout out to him. One of Ron Rivera's few gems that he left here. You know, there were not many gems he left on our melon, but Chris Paul ended up being a good thing for us. Very Eric Flowers-like. Yep, that's a good call, Fresh Kicks. Very good call. I'm bringing him back. Number 2 on the list. And this one is going to get interesting for me, because I think we should bring Treylon Burks back to have a shot at being in the wide receiver room next year. I think fans, after seeing the one-handed touchdown and the one other flash play he had here, I think fans are starting to romanticize about a future we're probably never going to see for Treylon Burks. I think Treylon Burks should for sure come in here with some non-guaranteed shot at competing to be one of our 6 receivers that we keep next year. He should be brought back in here for a summer camp application. I hear people talking about Treylon Burks like he need to be wide receiver 2 or 3. And I'm not there yet. He could easily be the guy that rounds out the room. But I have surely not seen enough yet, even though he's catching passes from niggas that shouldn't be throwing passes in NFL games. He's done enough that I would like to bring him back for a summer tryout situation to round out the room. They say Treylon Burks is about to be the next Cam Sim. Fans are already doing it. I'm telling you, people are like, I've seen someone in the chat say, if they don't bring Treylon Burks back, I'm out. Brother, reel it in. We got to reel it in, man. I would like Treylon Burks back. I think they bring him back. It ain't like that, though. Next one on the list. This one's interesting also. Drake Jackson, Drizzy Drake Jackson, the former second-round edge rusher that Adam Peters brought in from his time in San Francisco, a guy that we signed and immediately put on the IR. He's played the last couple weeks for the team. I don't know because in his short career as a second rounder, there's more data about his injury history than there is about his ability on the field. And that's a problem for me. When it comes to putting this roster together going forward, I'm almost going to be traumatized to add long injury history players to it, because this year, this stung. Like, this is some PTSD inducing shit we went through this year. We had 31 players injured for a total of 158 missed games between them cumulatively. So when it comes to signing guys here, I'm almost not going to want to sign anybody with deep injury history. We haven't seen much of Drake Jackson. He's played the last few weeks. He hasn't looked bad. He hasn't lit up the world. Drake Jackson's out there, and Jacob Martin is the prized, like the prized edge. Him and Von Miller were the only things getting to the quarterback from the edge room. So I'm going to pass on Drake Jackson, because to me, the only thing going for Drake Jackson is that he's young. Got to have a little something more going for you. I'm passing on Drake Jackson. We do have the cap space to make some moves for sure. But yeah, man, I'm cool on Drake Jackson, man. I'm going to pass on him. He will be cheap. Everything cheap ain't good, though. Sometimes you get what you paid for. And what you paid for with Drake Jackson is a question mark for his availability. He's missed a ton of time in his short career, and he has more missed games than he has actual production on the field. So I'm a pass, because I feel like there will be Drake Jacksons that grow on trees out there in free agency. This next one's going to be a quick one. Lucas Niang could be a developmental late offensive lineman on the roster. He got a serious injury last year. I'm cool on Lucas Niang. Jalen Holmes just always find a way to stick around, bro. Jalen Holmes, Big Medea, what's his name? Sheldon Day, Chris Moore, a.k.a. C-Mo, and guys like Jalen Holmes, they always find their way sticking around here. Jalen Holmes, just like Drake Jackson, there are 1,000 of him on the street. But shout out to Big Jalen Holmes, man. If they want to bring him back here for summer apprenticeship to get out there and run the fade on the practice squad, get in the preseason game, I'm not bringing back Jalen Holmes, but do I see them potentially? Well, we're going to have a new defensive coordinator. So a lot of these things are going to be passed through the new coordinator on the team, or potentially coordinators if we're moving on from Cliff Kingsbury. Next name on the list, Chase Edmonds. It's a no for me. And the thing about guys like Chase Edmonds, he'll probably be available at any time if we need to throw him on the practice squad. So that's a no for me as well, big dog. The funniest thing of the 2025 Washington Commanders season for me was the 1 week love fest for Antonio Hamilton Sr. or Jr., one of the Antonio Hamilton Jr. The love fest got so real, fans forgot that guy was 32 years old and a journeyman. But he had a solid game against the New York Giants. He plays with effort. He's the kind of guy that you keep on the practice squad. But, I mean, you can find somebody 25 that does what Antonio Hamilton Jr. does. Shout out to him, though. Shout out to him. And I was like, I don't know if y'all know this, but this is like his 10th team. He's been in the league for like 10 years. He's been on like 8 teams. Y'all did not just find a diamond in the rough in the cut, but he plays hard. Like I said with the last guy, if you need an Antonio Hamilton around, he'll be there. His phone will be on. That shit won't be on do not disturb. The ring won't be on. I'm a pass on Antonio Hamilton. I'm a pass on George Fant. Shout out to Sheldon Day and all of his hard work he's put in with this team. I'm going to pass on him as well. And here comes the GOAT of Jags, the guy we just can't get away of. You know, when Thanos told the Avengers you couldn't live with your failure. And where did that bring you? Right back to me. That's Chris Moore. Chris Moore is one of those players fans like to say knows where all the bodies are buried, because no matter what, this motherfucker just finds his way back, not on just on the roster, but on the field, on the active roster, on game day, in motion, out there with Jaden, Mariota, or Josh Johnson. We can't get Washington legend right here, man. Washington legend right here. Big C-Mo. Big Chris Moore. I could not pass any more on a person than I could pass on Seymour. But hashtag never forget the touchdown he caught from Jaden Daniels versus the Chicago Bears. It was the best throw Jaden made in his sophomore season. If you needed at least a small indication that Jaden still had the goods, that throw gave you it. It was beautiful. He threw it back shoulder corner route to the left pylon. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous, and the streets needed that. The streets needed that shit more than ever, I promise you. But that's a no for me for Chris Moore, man. Jeff Driscoll, if you keeping 3 quarterbacks, give me Jeff Driscoll over Josh Johnson. I don't want to harp too much on who the QB3 of this team is, because if we got to go 3 deep at quarterback next year, there are going to be much more pressing and dire conversations we need to have, and it might be on some blow it all up type season, man. You think the best throw was the McCaffrey one was beautiful, the deep ball across the middle of the field, but I like the corner route better because that throw was touch, it was timing, it was anticipation. He put it right on him, bro. That shit was gorgeous, man. I like that one though. I like that McCaffrey throw. That shit was beautiful too. But that Chris Moore throw, whoo, that jump. We was living for a little bit versus Chicago. Hey, with about 3:10 left in that game, we saw first place in the NFC within arm's reach. We was about to be 4-2. Jaden had thrown 3 touchdowns. We was living. And then our whole season went to hell in a handbasket after that. But that's the NFL for you. Life comes at you fast. Year-to-year league, week-to-week league. And no one knows that better than the 2025 Washington Commanders. But we in 2026 now, and we need this team back like cook crack, doing what we was doing in 2024, but doing it in a sustainable way. And we're going to continue going over who stays, who goes on this roster in just one moment. But I gotta give a shout out to my main sponsor of the channel at Sleeper using code RIO91.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code RIO91. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Sign Simo to an extension. Simo finna get a lifetime contract for minimum wage, bro, to come be. Simo need to get a lifetime contract with Lyft. That's what he needs to do. But shout out to Big Sleeper, man. Use code RIO91. If you watch basketball right now, they have a 100% boost on making picks on there. Stack your parlay up and use that 100% boost. You know, me and Louis T be getting active. And if you do so, use code RIO91 in the process. Big Simo, man. I'm passing on Simo. I'm cool, man. We can't have two 40-year-old backups. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the backup quarterback position when we get a little bit further on this list, but I'm passing on almost everything. Oh, Preston Smith, big pass. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. So where we at? Eddie Goldman. Yes, you can get brought back. I don't know what the scheme of the defense is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a 4-3 front. I know Raheem Morris does a lot of things out of the 3-4. You know what you need in the 3-4? A fat ass nose. Eddie Goldman fits the billing for that. Eddie Goldman actually was a run stuffer for us. I don't love him as much as my brother Louis T loves him, but Eddie Goldman had his old big ass has a role here, and he's gonna cost nothing more than a value meal and peanuts to be brought apart going forward. Eddie Goldman can come back. I'm gonna keep Eddie Goldman on my roster next year. Shy Tuttle, I don't even know who you are. No. Jeremy McNichols versus Chris Rodriguez in the RB3 of the world competition. Who is your guy? Who are y'all riding for out of McNichols versus Chris Rodriguez? Because both of them do not need to be on my roster in 2026. It's one or the other. Who y'all riding for in this combo? It's C-Rod, right? I think it's C-Rod. Jeremy McNichols, there's a role for Jeremy McNichols on everyone's roster. But we got to pick and choose, man. They got to have a pass catching back on the roster, and McNichols is like our value Austin Eckler. But it's cool, though, because we're going to get a starter that can catch the ball. So the third back can just be exactly what that is, the third running back in the room. I think I'm going Chris Rodriguez over Jeremy McNichols. I think I'm going Chris Rodriguez over Jeremy McNichols, man. I think Bill, who had a really good rookie season, especially as a 7th-round draft pick, 800 yards and 8 touchdowns on very limited carries. I think he only started 7 games and put that up. I think he's best suited to split that lion's share of touches with a real starter, though. And I don't think that's Chris Rodriguez or Jeremy McNichols, but I'm only picking one of those two. Give me Chris Rodriguez. Jeremy McNichols, it's been real, brother. Jeremy McNichols is going to sign with whoever Cliff Kingsbury gets hired to coach next year, because he seems like the type of dude he's going to go with wherever Cliff goes. That's a Cliff offensive staple type guy right there. But I'm a pass because I'm keeping Chris Rodriguez. Trenton Scott, Trent Scott. I'm cool with we can keep Trent Scott. He can be our poor man's Cornelius Lucas. And a pinch, if you need him, he can hop in at tackle or guard. Trent Scott can come back on my football team. Josh Johnson cannot come back on my football team. I don't want to talk about it. I'm cool. Josh Johnson did everything I needed to see him do yesterday. Good for him, bro. He went out and had him a career day yesterday. Scored his 2nd rushing touchdown of his career. Got him a W and all that. That boy was playing so well. Keely Ringo didn't even look him in the eyes when he was running into the end zone yesterday. I'm cool on Josh Johnson. Let him go add another jersey, infinity stone to his gauntlet of playing for every team in the league. He's checking them off like Tom Grassi checked off stadiums on his tour of visiting every stadium in the league. I'm cool on Josh Johnson. Noah Igbenogany, also cool on Noah Igbenogany. I'm good. Since we playing the either or game between him and Jonathan Jones is better than Noah Igbenogany. It was real, Noah. It was real. I'm a pass on that. Would I take a shot on Tyreek? Tyreek who? Hill? Nah, I'm cool. I love Tyreek Hill. He's one of my favorite players to watch. He's an idiot. But I love watching Tyreek Hill play football. I'm good though. I'm a pass. I'm a pass on that. Noah Igbenogany, it was real, my brother. Nobody has to say Rio, but he was a first round pick. Don't matter no more. It don't matter no more, man. I was good at football back in my heyday too. I'm washed as hell right now. Jacob Martin, you're getting brought back. You and Von Miller, after Dorrance Armstrong went down, y'all were the only watchable figures in our edge room. Jacob Martin actually plays with bend and has a knack for getting to the quarterback. He overachieved on this team this year. I'm bringing back Jacob Martin, and it's not going to cost much. First name I said today was Tress Way, so we don't even got to get too much into that. Dietrich Wise, I love that he was here after his injury, that he stayed in the building and all that. But he's coming off a pretty bad injury as well. But the thing is, these guys are for the low. See, it depends on what you're saying. If Dietrich Wise is being brought back to start, fuck no. I'm going to pass on that, champ. Same with Jacob Martin. If Jacob Martin or Dietrich Wise are being brought back to start as edge rushers for me, but if they rounding out and their depth, because if there's one thing we learned from this 2025 season, depth matters because players get hurt every day. They get hurt every day. You need guys to be able to step in the game and play football. So I'm keeping Jacob Martin. Dietrich Wise would have to be like league minimum type shit as a 31-year-old serious injury candidate. But I think we could get another Dietrich Wise. That's crazy. I think he was going to have such a good season for us too. But I'm cool. Unless it's super cheap. Man. We're going to get one of David Bailey, Caleb Downs, or Ruben Bain with that 7th pick. So I'm cool on some of these guys on the D-line that could be rounding out. Like, I need some stuff. The starters on the edge is going to be probably Dorrance on one. Honestly, I would like it so that Dorrance don't even necessarily have to start and that he could be that. I would love to have Dorrance. I would love to have a spoiler riches so that our best sack getter, Dorrance Armstrong, him and like Jacob Martin are coming as the rotational pass rush specialist behind a rookie and a starting veteran that we get in free agency or something. That's the world I envision. In a perfect Washington, D.C., a perfect Washington defense in 2026, Dorrance Armstrong, Jacob Martin, motherfucker like Von Miller on the league minimum as a pass rush specialist. They're rounding out the room behind David Bailey and name your impending free agent edge that Washington brought in. That's what I would love to have because I like Dorrance Armstrong. I don't love Dorrance Armstrong, but he is the best sack getter we got. And I think Dorrance Armstrong is about to go for 12 plus sacks this year. He's turning 30 and he's coming off a torn ACL or whatever he had. So we getting somebody, man. We getting somebody in here. I would like to not have to depend on the guys that we currently got here because we don't have anything special in the room. That is not a knock to any of the actual talented guys in our edge room right now, but Drake Jackson, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, Dorrance Armstrong, Old Man Von Miller, Jacob Martin, and company. There's not much talent in that room, man. It's very limited talent in that room, and we need some dogs. We need some killers. We need some folks that can hunt the quarterback. We also need some folks that can stop the run too. Everybody can't do everything, but we need a combination of dogs in the room. But anywho, where are we on this list? Dietrich Wise. Noah Brown, anybody? Okay, I know what the consensus is going to say. Someone make a case for me why we should keep Noah Brown in 2026, because inquiring minds would like to know. Why the hell would we keep Noah Brown in 2026? Bingo. What is a Noah Brown? Who is a Noah Brown? And why would we Noah Brown in the 2026 season? There's no case. I would be very hard. Like, you could tell me he don't count against a roster spot. We don't owe him $1, and I'm still out on Noah. But hashtag never forget the Hail Mary. Never forget. Never forget the Hail Mary. Never forget all the pass interferences he drew from the wide receiver position here. But it's a no for me, dog. It's a big no for me. So who have I kept on this list so far? Jacob Martin, Tress Way, Trent Scott, Eddie Goldman. Look how far I got to scroll up. Traylon Burks, Chris Paul. So I'm at 7 right now. I'm at 7 people I'm keeping on this roster right now. And the show goes on. Andrew Wiley. I'm like not really for or against Andrew Wiley. Like, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't love it. He's depth. I'm not going to turn my nose up to death because we need it. Sure, Andrew Wiley. We could probably find another Andrew Wiley, but Andrew Wiley is a serviceable plug-and-play depth piece. You know what? Let's make it 8. Andrew Wiley's on the roster too. Austin Eckler, I've already seen you getting comfortable with your next job's going to be at your age, the position you play, and the injury you just took. You're cooked, my brother. I'm going to go ahead and pass on that. Jonathan Jones, you're number 9 because I said it's you or Noah Igbenogany. I'm choosing you over Noah Igbenogany. Here's a polarizing one. This is when it gets fun. These last 5 names on the list are actual conversations to have. Say what you want about Von Miller being an old man. Remember, I put the number at like 6 for Von Miller sacks this year, but it turned out with our injury history this year, he became a lot more important here than we thought he was going to be. Von Miller had 9 sacks this year. And yes, I know some of these sacks were in cleanup duty. They're equivalent to getting a kill on Call of Duty or Halo after your teammate already got him to 1 HP. But he got him, though. And we can't take away the fact that he had 9 sacks for this team this year. For the absolute league minimum of league minimums, how could you say no to bring him? Hold on. Not only that, my 2 caveats. League minimum with incentives for hitting certain sack numbers and a limited role. I'm talking limited. Russell Wilson voice. Limited role. You are just playing on passing downs. But if they said, your old brother kick rocks, I'm not going to be mad at it. But if they brought him back for the league minimum, I'm also not going to be mad at it. Are y'all bringing Von back? He wants to come back. That boy been on his podcast politicking for weeks. He wants to come back here. I think until I see us add more additions to the edge room, like, Von is 100 years old and he gives me more pass rush juice than Drake Jackson. Fuck it, man. Von Miller, you back. Next year. It's not going to cost anything. He's back. Zach Ertz, if he didn't get hurt, he was 100,000% coming back next year. At his big age, plus that nasty injury, it might be time to fade off into the sunset, my boy. It's going to be a no for me. But these bastards better go get me a starting tight end. They better go get us a starting tight end. That's a no for me. They better go. This is what I fear is going to happen now. I don't know. After hearing AP today, I think there's going to be a lot more aggression in the way that they proactively handle adding talent to this team. My worst fear is Ben Sinnott and John Bates and Colson Yankoff are going to be the tight end room next year because they're going to be like, oh, we don't need Zach, or we got Zach Ertz at home. We got young Zach Ertz at home, bro. Ben Sinnott. We took him in the second round. This is the guy. We have big plans for. Yeah, that's cool. No. We need to go get a starting tight end. We need to go get a starting tight end, bro. I know people don't want to hear it. We need to go get a starting tight end, and we probably need to get a starting running back to share the bell cow carries with Bill. I know most of the work is coming on the defensive side of the ball, but we're not going to act like we don't need shit on offense too. That wide receiver room needs a facelift. The tight end room needs one of those up front. Give me an Isaiah Likely or a Pitts if they hit the open market. They're going to hit the open market. Maybe Pitts gets franchise. I don't know. Maybe they don't. They're getting new people coming in too. So you know what happens when guys go into buildings that with a bunch of players they never drafted and stuff like that. They don't always feel as loyal to them as the fan base does. But there are guys out there. It's a good free agent tight end class. It's a good free tight end draft class. Go get me a starter because Ben Sinnott's not a starter. Ben Sinnott in a bigger role can be John Bates 2.0. You know what John Bates 1.0 is not? A fucking starter. So we don't need to act like we have a starting tight end on the roster right now. So Zach Ertz is a no for me. Marcus Mariota. Sure. The thing is, if we have to, yeah, Pitts was riding for Raheem Morris, so you may be onto something when you say sign Raheem. You got the early track on Pitts. They was over there like, nah, don't fire our coach. But you know, players ride for their coaches most of the time. But if we have to count on our backup quarterback next year, then tough conversations are going to have to be had, and I don't want to have those conversations yet. There's a world where we have a new offensive coordinator, though. So, Marcus Mariota. Man, bring Marcus Mariota back. Bring him back, man. Bring him back. I think he's a fine backup quarterback. You just can't overuse the backup, bro. We can't be using the spare tire like a regular tire, man. We can't throw rims on that shit and call it a starter. We can't do that. So we need Jaden to be on the fucking football field next year. We need the team, and we need Jaden to make sure that next year. We have to make all the adjustments we need to make sure our quarterback stays on the field. But a reliable backup, I'm cool. I don't have any problems with Marcus Mariota. Fans are a little hard on him because that's what fans do. But he's a very solid backup. He's one of the better backups in the league. Cool. We asked him to play too much. The fuck, he started like 7-8 games, bro. Backups don't need to be starting that many games, bro. When your backup got to start a handful plus of games, he's no longer a backup at that point. He's doing a lot. Ain't no dual wielding the position, bro. Backups are supposed to get you through a pinch. It was a lot more than a pinch this year. It was a whole squeeze. It's a lot to put on your backup quarterback. And even he got hurt. That's the type of season we was having this year. Marcus Mariota could come back. The most polarizing two names on the list, though. Let's get to it now. This is the one that's going to divide a lot of the fan base. These two right here. Bobby Wagner and Deebo Samuel. Bobby Wagner, statistically, he's the best tackler even at his big age, nobody on the team can tackle like Bobby Wagner. It's such a hard conversation to have, especially for someone outside of DC, someone from a national platform, someone from an outside fan base is going to see Bobby Wagner's numbers and say, what do you mean move on from Bobby Wagner? How can you move on from Bobby Wagner? Bobby Wagner has 160 tackles and he has 4.5 sacks and 2 interceptions. It's such a tricky conversation. And yesterday he became the third ever linebacker with 2,000 tackles. So now it's just him, London Fletcher, And Ray Lewis, Bobby had 162 tackles, bro. Jesus Christ. 4.5 sacks and 2 picks. It's a hard conversation to have because until they fill this roster up with some talent, like this current unit, as bad as this current unit is, it would have been historically worse if Bobby wasn't on the field. This defense completely falls apart if he's not on the field. He's like one of the only smart players on the field. He makes up for his lack of remaining athleticism or physical ability by his mind. He knows where the ball is, he finds it, and he's a pretty sure tackler. But here's the thing. He's such a liability. Like we can't be expecting Bobby to beat dudes to the corner. We can't be expecting Bobby to run the coverage fade with a tight end or with a pass catching back. Y'all saw what that shit looked like when we had him out there with Tucker Kraft and Bijan Robinson and Jameer Gitt. It wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't a pretty sight. And that shit hurts my soul because young Bobby Wagner, he's taking that fade head on. Even if he wanted to now, his body's like, oh, hold on, big fella. You got a little bit too much dip on your chip. He can't do it anymore. He can't do it anymore. So, unpopular opinion. Well, depending on who you speak on, I want Bobby Wagner to fade. I'm telling you, he's going for the tackle record. So he's going to play for someone in 2026. I would love to bring Bobby Wagner back in a limited role. Here's the problem. He's still too competent to be in a limited role. He's too competent. You can't have the smartest player on the field playing 30% of the snaps. He's better than what we have on the roster too. So if he's brought back, he's still your Mike full time, and I want better for us in 2026, man. I won't. But yeah, you're right. We are going to have a new defensive coordinator in 2026, hopefully. Until Dan Quinn go to that podium and say, you know what? We're going to give Joe Witt another run. No, I'm just kidding. We're definitely getting a new defensive coordinator in the next 2 weeks. Before Martin Luther King Day, new DC will be back in the building, man. Yeah, I'm going to pass on Bobby Wagner. And then we go to Deebo Samuel, Mr. Tyshawn Raekwon Samuel, Sr. Deebo Samuel, ladies and gentlemen. Let me pull up his season stats. He finished the year with 72 catches for 727 yards, 10 yards a catch, 5 touchdowns. You know, he had the injury later in the season, only 75 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. My boy Marshall in our group chat calls every touch that we manufacture to Deebo the skibbity doodah package. The skibbity doodah package. He says every time we pull out the skibbity doodah Deebo package, we're losing 3 or 4 yards. Deebo was fine for us this year. If Deebo can come back on a not wide receiver 2 salary, I'm with it. I would like a more wide receiver 2. Like a more traditional route runner, that or a take the top off the defense vertical threat receiver. I don't even want to throw out the name Alec Pierce because we're not getting Alec Pierce, but boy, would I like that to be our number 2. I would love Alec Pierce to be our number 2. You know, we already used up our one white boy slot. Then I'm just kidding. But Alec Pierce probably not touching free agency. Alec Pierce has got 1,000 yards on 47 catches. I don't know if you know, but that's crazy. That's over 20 yards a catch. 47 catches for over 1,000 yards is nuts. So we're not going to be able to touch a guy like Alec Pierce. I don't think. And I'm going into free agency, bracing myself for us not having an opportunity to get the few actual serious upgrades available. But back to Deebo Samuel. What do y'all feel about bringing back Deebo Samuel, man? I would like Debo if Debo was the third option in my offense. I don't want us paying $18 to $20 million and him having a second receiver. I mean, being our number 2 receiver. I don't think he's that. I don't want us relying on 31-year-old Terry, 30-year-old gadget Debo as the 2 receivers. Nah, man. I don't know, man. See, Terry, Debo, Burks as wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. That's not. I want better for us, man. I want better for us, man. And for that same price, you could get a younger receiver. If it's for the low ski, sure. If Debo's coming back for $14 million, bring him. But bringing Debo in would not stop me from drafting a wide receiver with our first couple picks or continuing to sign wide receivers, because you can always have a surplus of, you can always add to the wide receiver room. You should be drafting a wide receiver every year. You should be bringing in a new wide receiver every year. It's a position everybody needs. You can never get enough good wide receivers in this league. And you can definitely get more than enough bad wide receivers. Shit. We watched the people that we were throwing the ball to this year. But I think we could do better. But if it's for the low, sure. But I don't think I want a number 2 next to Terry. And I think guys like Debo Samuel at this point of their career, that's a number 3 option. He's your number 3. It should be Terry, another wide receiver, and then Debo and Burks and Luke and Lane. You know? I think we can upgrade. So I'm a no on Bobby. They're definitely bringing Bobby back, by the way. And if for the right price, we can bring Debo back. But I don't want him to be our wide receiver 2. And I don't need us paying him as if he is a wide receiver 2 at this point, bro. Can we get a young stud in the wide? Can we get somebody? And I definitely don't want Ayuk. I'm cool on Ayuk. I know y'all, a lot of people want Brandon Ayuk here. Brandon Ayuk got a lot bigger things than football that he needs to get right before I want Ayuk on my football team. I'd rather have Jawan Jennings at this point. And Jawan Jennings, also a wide receiver 3. Jawan Jennings, Debo Samuel, Romeo Dobbs, and shit. I take Romeo Dobbs, who's 26 years old, with the money that we throwing at Debo, but also injury history with him too. So I don't know, man. We need to scour the market for what's out there, because I'm souring on a lot of what's on this roster. We can do better at so many positions. We shouldn't feel obligated to have to go out. The only extension of a player that is a real legit priority, like get that shit done, is your left tackle, Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil, man. Laramie motherfucking Tunsil. George Pickens ain't gonna be an unrestricted free agent, so I don't even want to play with y'all emotions like that. He at minimum is going to be franchise tagged, and they're going to run through that cha-cha-cha with the Dallas Cowboys. But, yep. I wouldn't see. It's not that Ayuk is just a crash out. I don't mind a crash out. I like crash outs. I like having some dickheads on the roster. Ayuk is a crash out who tore his entire knee to pulled pork a season ago, and we ain't seen him on a football field since. If Ayuk was playing football this year, we could have the conversation about Ayuk this year. I don't know if Ayuk can play football anymore. He tore his ACL, MCL, PCL on his knee. I haven't seen that nigga on a treadmill, on a practice field, or in his backyard running around. The most activity I've seen of Brandon Ayuk is FaceTiming Jaden Daniels and driving 100 miles per hour past Levi Stadium. I'm cool until I see that, man. Laramie Tunsil needs to get extended. We need to hire some coordinators, and We need to start talking about free agent fits for this team, but we can't really go into free agent fits to this team until hey, chill out. Y'all know what I meant. You knew what I meant, damn it. You knew what I meant, damn it. Don't do me like that. They need to sign you for one game so I can get a Rio jersey. Hey, bro, just customize it and throw the Rio on the back. Offseason Rio, man, I'm putting the weight back on, man. You don't want to see me out on that field right now. Your boy washed. We need to lock back in. I need to get back in season mode. I'm getting washed again. We need a coach with some grit, someone that knows ball. We need Ronald Eugene Rivera. You stop that shit. You better stop that shit. Who needs Ron though, man? We got Ron at home. We got Ron at home, bro. We got White Ron at home, man. Shador had 7 touchdowns, 10 picks. Get this man a goal. You can't even talk about Shador because people gonna say you racist or you hate your own kind if you critique anything about Shador Sanders. That shit's hilarious, man. What up, Big Germ? Thank you for always rocking with your boy, man. Day one of the channel. You, Queen Shing, a bunch of y'all out there. Shout out to my guy Junior, by the way. His daughter hit me up on Instagram. Said Pops listens to your channel every day. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to Daniel, who sent my son the Jaden Daniels numbered rookie cards. He's in love with them, by the way, because my son is obsessed with our quarterback. But so much to discuss this offseason, man. We need a coordinator so we can discuss who fits what scheme, because it almost feels pointless to go too deeply into the sign this guy, sign that guy. I would say trade, but I don't think we're in a conversation to trade for anybody. But you never know. You never know with Adam Peters and company. Tomorrow, we could do our first mock draft trade. I know it should have been mock draft Monday, but it was Black Monday today. Tomorrow afternoon, I open this thing up. We throw in the mock draft simulator, and we start working out some different stipulations. The trade back stipulation, the stay put and pick, and let's debate Ruben Bain versus Caleb Downs versus David Bailey versus who's going to actually be there at pick number 7. And we also do, I know folks don't want to hear, we have to talk about other guys too. We got to talk about the Keldrick Falks of the world. We got to talk about the Peter Woodses of the world, the cornerbacks, the Mansour Delanes, the McCoys, the Avion Terrells, even Jeremiah Lowe. We got to have the full conversation. We can't just pick our favorites and only talk about them. But I appreciate y'all for locking in with me for a random impromptu Monday night stream following our presser, our exit presser. You and Lake linking up this week. Lake is on vacation. When Lake gets back this week, we will definitely be linking up. I believe he's in Cancun. You know, Cancun on 3, Cancun on me. Lake and Miss Janine, they on vacation right now. When he gets back, we definitely locking in this week, and we will be keeping that going in the offseason. Me, Lou, Rico, and Ed, we're discussing what days we're going to be able to do Commanders Kings this week. Get JD5 weapons by any means and never feel like enough is enough. Spoil our guy with riches and don't look back. Tomorrow, first mock draft stream of the offseason. Talk soon. I ain't never been to a playoff game, but if you want to go to anybody's playoff game in person, if you don't want to kick it in chat with the rest of us, make sure you get your tickets on SeatGeek and use Rio10 for 10% off. While doing so, talk soon, y'all.
I've been looking to find the best deal on Washington Commanders tickets for the 2025 season, which is why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sporting events, festivals, and more. The NFL is right around the corner, and MLB is in full swing. I love using SeatGeek. Recently used it, lock in my training camp tickets. Most notably, I was at the Grand National Tour with my son, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 through 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And you know I had to come through for y'all using promo code RIO10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code RIO10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app